started 3.5 times.
We've been practicing our over under. Will this intro take more than 2.35 minutes? Is it always a 0.5, or is it sometimes a weird decimal?
No, it's unless it's something that I guess could be a decimal in and of itself.
Huh?
Like if the like answer could be 3.5.
Okay, then it has to be.
Then
a
it would be
decimal.
3.45. But also, over under can be set at set at like 8, and if it lands on 8, then you just get your money back.
Then everyone does.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's up? What are you thinking about?
Do you feel any more bonded? Do you feel more bonded?
I've actually never felt further away from you.
Really?
No.
Do you feel more or less bonded than getting married?
I'd say more.
I'd say
it's a bigger commitment. I'd say getting a matching tattoo is a bigger commitment than marriage.
Oh, you were talking about the tattoo?
Oh, what were you talking about?
I was talking about
M.
Soup. Let's go. That was
Best
great.
intro of all time.
That was great. Let's draw a ton of attention to it and ruin it.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SMSoup, the #1 podcast with soup in the name, but not on the brain. I'm Spencer.
And I'm Shelby.
And together, we're here to take you on a journey through life's biggest questions, like...
Waiter, how is this soup made?
And did it hurt when
you fell
got a
from
tattoo?
Heaven? Oh. Did it hurt, Spencer? Spencer got his first tattoo today. Claps for Spencer.
You can kind of see it.
Audio listeners, it's on both of our left wrists so that when we do blood packs, they match up. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cover you. Wow, this is very uncomfortable. We literally just got them. Like, they are fresh wrapped, baby, fresh irritated, skin raised, all the above. It was a fantastic experience. Not that anyone is in the Charlotte area, but if you are, go to Angel Ink in Charlotte. Great time all around. Great time. So, what'd you think? First tattoo.
All right. So we'll talk to you guys next week. It was great. And now I'm like...
You're ready. You literally, we get in the car and you go, what should I get in it? Because definitely it's the... I don't really understand the once you get, okay, I do and I don't. The phrasing of the sentence, like, once you get one, you're going to want to get a million. I don't agree with that thought process, but by getting one, you've broken down the barrier of entry. You've done it. You no longer maybe like hype it up in your head. Like, now you know what to expect. You know what the experience should be like. You know how to reach out to a person. Well,
I don't.
You don't, but I reached out for us. But regardless, like, you know how the process works, so you maybe can't get scared of it. So now if you've always known you wanted some, you no longer feel that like hindrance. So that is like a more not that was a classy way of saying it, but that I think is a more accurate way of describing what that is like. Because I know as soon as I got one, I was like, well, shit, that wasn't hard. I'm just gonna go get another one. And then you just like, yeah. Then it happened. Then it all happens. So yeah, literally the minute we got in the car, you were like, what am I getting next? But we're going to play it smart.
I told you that in confidence.
What? We're going to play it smart. And I say my cutoff for, piercings or tattoos or things I need to heal is always like middle of April, because we are both summer people and we both, I just, I want to be able to enjoy those months in their full glory. I don't want to be the person who has to have like my arm covered and wrapped and all the above, and can't go in the water. Because that's my favorite time of year. So that's my general personal rule.
Hell yeah.
Is anything has to be done by mid-April. So by hopefully end of May, early June, you're ready to rock, for whatever might be necessary. So... Although I totally broke that rule. Actually, why I have that rule is because I got my nose pierced in May, because I got it right after I turned 18. And I went to the ocean like 2 weeks later, and it came out, and that was the scariest moment of my life, because like I'd paid for the piercing. It was my first like, so I'm an adult.
Like,
yeah. Now it was like shit.
Now
I just wasted my money.
Steak.
Yeah, I have steak now. And I got a big juicy snake steak.
A little blurry.
I can't tell if I'm just a little blown out or if we are a little blurry.
I think we're good.
I think I'm just a little blown out. But yeah, it came out. Thankfully, I was able to put it back in. That was very scary. And then I was a lot more aware that I was like, oh, there's a reason they say don't do shit right after you get your piercing or tattoo. So yeah, I did that on my first go of getting one.
That like that does not surprise me at all.
I know, and that's why I made the rule. Everything has to be done by mid-April at the latest. Why are you staring at my forehead? What's wrong with my forehead? Do I have something?
You have ink on your forehead.
Oh, really? I might have smudged my hand on my arm and then rubbed my forehead. I got a mini forehead tat. Didn't you see it? I'm joking.
That was a good joke. I was there. So.
But yeah, that is literally why I have that rule now, because I was dumb on my first go. Thankfully, it all worked out, but don't be me. Don't do it, folks. Don't do it. Just be smart.
That goes, I think,
for
a
most
lot of
things. Don't be me. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it was a fun day. We technically said it was our Valentine's Day thing just because it was an excuse to like pick a weekend.
Yeah, and also for us to be like, yeah, we did something for Valentine's Day.
That way when everyone asks, we can be like, yeah, we did something. We had like a week. Well, okay, no, we didn't actually have we didn't really intentionally do anything, but I picture it as we had a week of unintentional Valentine's Day things because I made really cute lasagna.
I'm just joking. That didn't happen.
I made cute heart lasagna.
Ravioli.
That's what I meant.
And we didn't have those this week.
We had them like last Thursday, Friday.
But this is the week of Valentine's Day.
Okay, but I'm saying we had like a 7-day period of fun stuff. That's what I was getting at.
Is today a part of that 7-day period?
Yeah, so then it was past a week ago. Shut up. So we had cute heart lasagna.
The words you say matter.
Ravioli. I made cute little strawberry donuts on Valentine's Day. And on Valentine's Day, we made a candle. We made a singular candle. I was okay. Spencer's always wanted to make his own candles.
We didn't think shit.
So
you thought
for Christmas, we were gifted a whole like candle making kit, which was
I think
very
we talked
exciting.
about it. I think we said that it was one of the gifts that we got that we were most excited about.
I think you're right. Yeah. But we got a whole kit. It was very cute. So for Valentine's Day, we were like, let's break this bad boy out.
Again, not we.
Okay, I was like, hey, for Valentine's Day, let's break this bad boy
out.
Thing
I think we talked about
last
episode or 2 episodes
I don't know,
where you had to come up with a name for a thing that was just the two of us.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun coming up with the thing.
We didn't even do it.
I know. I am explaining that right now. Will you let me explain it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
all we did was make one candle. Sorry. You explain it.
So we break.
You'll tell it way better.
So we break out all the shit.
I dropped something.
So we break out all the shit because we're like, we really want to do this, but we haven't had the time or energy. So today's the day. And we pull it out. I read all the instructions. I was like, cool, let's do it. We had cut glass the night before in preparation of like an old wine bottle and an old Frank's Red Hot.
It's so funny.
Yeah, what?
How you will be so particular when I will say we about something.
Yeah.
And you'll like correct me. If it's a way to make me look bad. But you're now saying we did all these things. And
you poured the water.
That's true. I did help. Normally, I don't help with stuff, though.
I know.
And you're so quick to call that out. But right now, you're like, yeah, Spencer is a total rock star. He helped me cut glass. It's like, no, I didn't. You did that. And I stood there going, please do not cut yourself over and over
supervising.
again.
You were the health board there watching, supervising.
I was OSHA. Does OSHA do that?
I don't think so.
Oversee Safety Health Administration.
Where's the E? Oh, there's no E in that. It's not OSHA. It's OSHA, I guess. So cut glass the night before. We were all ready to go. We were prepped. As soon as we're like cooking, I'm literally actively cooking dinner, which is a dip. We weren't actually eating dinner. It was a chip dip.
And I was actively cooking soy wax.
I'm going to start melting the wax because I was like, this might take a while. So you're just like, I'll get it started. The whole process from melting to pouring took 10 minutes, 8 minutes,
15 tops.
Yeah. And then we started
because it did take a little bit for it to melt.
Yeah.
But then once it was done. It easily melted within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then from there,
it takes a minute to pour.
You pour it.
Yeah. And then you
stop.
stop.
Then you just.
So we stared at our singular candle and we went, so now what?
I said, because we used all the wax that we had melted.
Yeah.
And I said, I was like, I almost think we shouldn't make another one.
Yeah.
Because we
need to
don't
test.
know if we did a good enough job with this one.
Yeah.
When it comes to like the scents and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we lit it the day after, and it is
We did a bad job.
just soy.
It is just soy.
It is
It's a vibe,
soy.
I guess, if you just like a candle lit.
And almost no cinnamon, which is what was supposed to come through. And
Yeah,
the
we
cinnamon
didn't-
was rather potent.
We didn't scent it very well.
So I don't know.
So our Valentine's Day lasted 15 minutes.
Well, our Valentine's Day lasted 24 hours.
Yeah, no, but our Valentine's Day lasted 15
It's
minutes.
24. Mine was 24 hours.
Nope. So
Every day with you is a Valentine's Day in a way.
shut the fuck up. So that was our really fun day, and we went, all right, now what are we gonna do? We went and sat on the couch. Best Valentine's Day ever. Oh, but what was really funny is I said, hey Spencer, you should leave a candle sitting for roughly 3 to 5 hours pre-doing anything with it. That is the setting time, generally speaking, that I had read online. And I was like, so let's just let it go, and then right before bed we'll like move it out of the way so our dumb cat can't get to it in case he gets adventurous that night. I don't wake up to a paw print in there or him eating it or something dumb. And no joke, I said that, which to be fair, I guess I didn't specifically say do not touch, but I said we're gonna let it set. I in words said don't touch it.
I think you actually did say at one point verbatim,
don't touch
it.
So about 30 seconds passed. No more than 2 minutes. No more than 2 minutes passed.
I was gonna say
from me saying that.
Hopefully it was like 2.
I don't know.
High end, maybe I got to 5.
I don't know if you got to 5. Literally.
Okay.
You
they're sitting on top to like hold the wick in place.
Yeah. It's a little metal
It's
bracket.
like a little metal thing.
Yeah.
And there's like a hole that the wick goes up through.
Yeah.
But then it had like a little slot.
Yeah.
That it felt like the wick was supposed to be like gripped into.
Yeah.
So,
which to be clear, I
tried.
had tested that, but I didn't say anything. I tested that because it also felt like that should go there, and it didn't fit. Whether our wicks just don't fit, that would like I don't know if you need a very specific wick to fit in the slot.
Yeah,
it didn't fit, but I did not say that to Spencer. I didn't go, oh, I feel like it should go in there, but it didn't fit. So Spencer was like, without speaking, was
so
like,
I just
I'm gonna
walked
do
up,
it.
tried to push it, but then as I did it, it just knocked the metal bracket and it just slowly sank into the wax.
And you just are your hands are over it because you like want to put your fingers in there to grab it, but you realize like I shouldn't just put my hands in there. It's melted wax.
Yeah.
And you're looking at me and just going, and I'm just staring at you and I go, I just said don't touch it.
This was one of those things where we both watched it happen and it was just like, what do we do?
We fished it out. All was fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, first candle making experience. It went well, but we have progress to make.
I have no doubts that we can make candles.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's going to be everyone's Christmas gift next year. So we have a few months to practice and start being ready for everyone's gifts next year.
Yeah.
So that was our fun, exciting, and then obviously today we got tats. But yeah, is there anything else fun update, Spencer, you wanted to talk about? Just personal or anything?
No.
No? Shelby's got a rant.
Yeah, well, I think this whole episode's going to be a little ranty.
Oh,
just
this
everybody
whole episode's going to be a little
in.
ranty. Yeah. I just realized, did we want to say what our tattoo's from? We never said what it even is. Do you want us, in case like audio listeners? Or should we leave it to be like surprise? It's not that exciting to anyone else.
You're really hamming it up.
Well, I'm asking you.
It's a Bumbo from The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
A little video game.
Very early. I mean, you've played that game for years,
Uh-huh.
like on and off for years. But when we started streaming on Basement Gamer, it was like one of the first games because you started streaming October-ish, and it's a creepy game. It's got grotesque
It's a
sounds.
roguelike. I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah. And that was like one of our first games that we like played pretty consistently. And Bumbo is a little character who to start out is just a floating head with a buck tooth that like eats coins to gain power. And somehow we went on a whole bit about Bumbo as our friend. And it was just a lot of screaming and yelling about Bumbo being our friend. That's it, right? Am I missing anything?
No.
So we got a cute ass little floating head with a buck tooth on both of our
I
wrists.
got a coin from the game next to it
Yeah.
because he eats the coins.
Yeah. So very fun. Yes. Love it. Just wanted to fill that in because I realized we talked about all that and then didn't give any details. Okay.
Totally.
Shelby's rant of the day. I'm only going to get into it for a little bit, I swear, because I just don't have that much information to actually talk about. I saw this it was a shared Instagram post. So it was crediting the Commons Earth and Intersectional Environmentalist for posting about this. And it was about, from what I understand, Bloomberg Opinion, that specific account, but obviously Bloomberg as a whole, posted.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it was from that specific Instagram account. Posted about where the most like ocean waste, specifically plastic, is found globally. And they clearly, at the time of this thing coming through, this post had 667,000 views. And it basically was this giant ass list where they were like, wow, countries in Asia have horrible pollution and horrible plastic waste. And wow, good thing the United States only accounts for 0.3% all the way at the bottom of plastic waste. So basically, like, it was this whole thing. Like, they have the Philippines, India. They then just put the rest of the world, which doesn't make any fucking sense on a country basis. Malaysia, China, Indonesia, Brazil, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Thailand. Like, there's a whole list here. All the way at the bottom is the United States. All the way at the bottom. And of course, that Bloomberg gets a ton of fucking views. And they were just like, yeah, wow, look at this. Like, look at where all the like ocean waste is, like, and where all the plastic waste is coming from, like these countries. And it was just like a wild thing that like these tiny countries, the Philippines, Trinidad, all these little Malaysia,
Trinidad and
Tobago. Is that how you say it? Tobago? I'm guessing it's Tobago. How are they producing that much plastic? Right?
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
We export it to them.
Good job! The United States, Germany, and other wealthy countries are the biggest plastic exporters in the world. And where do they export all their plastic? To these tiny ass little countries.
So I do just want to call out real quick before you get too worked up.
I mean, that's about all I'd say, really.
Oh. Okay.
It's just like, that's an insane thing.
So there's a 90% chance when you see an accredited news source,
sure,
such as Bloomberg,
sure.
New York Times,
sure.
Washington Post, God, give me some other leftist media. No, but genuinely,
yeah.
Any of these places that are like typically like really like well-regarded sources of truth,
yeah,
and you see opinion, after it, and it's an opinion piece. There's a 90% chance you are about to read the worst fucking shit in your life.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off to no end. I get that we shouldn't all just be in echo chambers.
Sure.
Right? And I think with the current state of society, we just keep finding ways to put ourselves more and more in echo chambers.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. There's this guy on Twitter. His name is Dan Clark, I think.
Okay.
And he's like a sports personality, we'll call him. And he is the biggest Trevor Bauer dick rider. Trevor Bauer, notorious bad person, like has so many like assault charges like brought up against him, like accusations brought up against him.
Yeah.
Like one of them was settled, which does not mean he's innocent.
Right.
One of them he was found not innocent again. What it's very specific.
Okay. I'm not going to know.
So
terms.
people will like say that's like he wasn't found guilty.
Was it like absolved or whatever?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know the words. I'm thinking like.
But again, like one of them he settled, which is about as guilty as you can look without getting the gavel to say guilty.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
This guy will ride Trevor Bauer's dick left and right.
Okay.
Just like, and he's probably doing it for impressions, whatever.
Right, whatever.
But then and not to get into this because I will flip the fuck out. I will not be able to keep my cool. But he then brought up about how the shooting that happened at the Chiefs Super Bowl parade, and basically was like, guns are very clearly an issue, like no matter how you try to spin it.
Yeah.
And there's not many people who I feel like will be one, and then the other.
Yeah.
And I was just like, maybe he actually is a really good representation of like the average person.
True.
Who just like, no pun intended, kind of shoots themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
With their one thought process.
Yeah. So then you kind of peg them as one person.
But then
they say something else and you're like, wait. This is not what I thought was going to come out of your mouth. Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I don't know, maybe he was trying to push a narrative because I feel like I've seen some stuff that would suggest he is, I don't necessarily want to just like call him outright racist, but I do believe
he's said some questionable things.
I feel like he says stuff that's like, if this person was white, you wouldn't be saying those things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that, like, I think people do that without realizing it sometimes. So that's why I'll give the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
But with that being said, I don't know. Maybe his whole gun thing was to make a point about how, guns are clearly the problem, but only when we're giving them to black people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's where he was going with it. So, but anyway, where was I going with that?
I have no idea.
Oh, about being in an echo chamber.
Okay.
I think the average person is like that, where it's like,
absolutely.
They'll literally be like, pollution's really bad. And it's like, yeah, it is. And then they're like, but I also think we should just eradicate homeless people. And it's like, where did that come from? That is the most insane thing.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel every time I got there.
Okay.
That's how I feel every time I see a New York Times opinion piece.
Whoa. That was the biggest roller coaster.
Because the New York Times is literally like, I guess I'll say they lean left.
Sure.
But also, I just think that's like, they're just delivering news.
Yeah.
I don't know. Regardless.
Yeah. So that just like made me mad. I really stared at that. I just need you all to know I stared at that, like this infographic / like carousel for like 10 minutes going like, it's one of those things that like I like know in the back of my mind that's how this is working and how this is being spun. Because I brought this up during our like overconsumption. I was like, China and other Asian countries are blamed for having the worst carbon emissions, but they've done their own studies and been like, well, fucking 30% of this shit is because of you. Like, so why aren't you getting any like hits for that? Because little fun fact, the US recycles less than 10% of the plastic that we use. And instead of incinerating or landfilling it, which a lot of it gets put in the landfill if you're not putting it in the recycling bin, but if you are attempting to recycle it, a lot of it isn't getting recycled and is getting shipped off to other countries. And that's why when you Google highest plastic pollution, we aren't on the list because it's not in our country. We're getting rid of it. And like we do that, a lot of the UK, Germany, European countries, we're like all notoriously doing that. So that's just wild. And like, it was just the fact that like Bloomberg, which again, I know it's his Bloomberg opinion, but like Bloomberg posted this and they were just like, did you know? And it's like, again, they literally bring it up like 667,000 people viewed that. Again, and you have to sit there and go, and what is the average person able to critically analyze that and go like, how do the Philippines have the highest plastic pollution globally?
Right.
How?
Again, anytime you see credited news source followed by opinion,
run.
Don't. And that's the problem, though, is that like people don't just sit there. And like that is the clearest example. And this is like one of my biggest gripes with like today.
Yeah.
Just like it's
current society.
Yeah. It's how to lie with statistics.
Yeah.
How to spin your narrative with statistics.
Yeah. Which related to what I was just talking about. I wonder if it's I don't know. I don't really follow news sources, so I do see a lot of this like second or third hand. So I have no concept of like, did the Bloomberg thing maybe blow up and now other people are talking about, like, I don't know. But funny enough, literally right afterwards, The Guardian posted a piece how, quote, they lied. Like, plastic producers deceived the public about recycling for decades and it's become revealed. And it's like, well, really, this was revealed a long time ago. But But like literally for like when like there was a genuine study done, like recycling's been a thing for roughly 30 to 40 years. Like it's been in the thing because we made plastic super disposable because we were like, ooh, the new housewife can have less work on her hands by just chucking this shit out when she's done with it. It was like kind of most of what was being like pushed. Obviously plastic can be fine, like in medical usage and shit like that. I'm not saying it doesn't have a use, but when it came to like day to day, how much we throw away is like insane. So like it was pushed for that, and they started when like people started being like, wow, we're really like just throwing away stuff. Like there was kind of a push of being like, ooh, this is kind of bad, don't you think? They were like, oh, well, we'll just like we'll start recycling, we'll start reusing it, and like the whole Green Arrow thing was created, and it was this big media push, and literally a study was done during that time that was like, this is not a sustainable and feasible method, but they were like, we'll just ignore that and do it anyway because then the public will think they're doing okay. Yep. And that's pretty much how plastic took over our world. And now it's like in our bloodstream and shit. So
thanks, Reagan.
Yeah, so that's pretty wild. But I'm like, oh, because of the Bloomberg thing, is that why the Guardian pushed this? Maybe is it kind of in the zeitgeist? I don't know.
And like again, like I don't think the Bloomberg piece is lying.
It's technically not, because if you Google it, that's what it'll tell you.
I think what they're presenting is fact.
Sure.
The problem is
they're not
giving the full picture of like why are these countries so hot? Yeah. So, and again, that's lying with statistics.
Yeah.
101 right there.
Yeah.
So
there you have it. Shelby's mini rant.
All right. Well, now I would like
go ahead, Spencer.
To go on a
not so mini rant.
Just about something else that I find so incredibly funny and crazy at the same time, and that is a person who I don't love, Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Okay. Hot take.
I am not a big Taylor Swift fan. I actually am fine with Taylor Swift the person.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually her fans that I hate, I think.
Okay.
Because they're just so fucking annoying.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, I think every fan of anything can be annoying.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's not just them.
Yeah.
It's the fact that there's so many of them.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
So in a lot of ways, you'll hate this, but in a lot of ways, I sometimes feel bad for Taylor Swift because I think she gets flack that should actually be directed towards her following that she doesn't really have any control over.
She doesn't.
I mean? Like you can like
I do feel like sometimes she just like is like
enables.
Sure, no,
100%.
But sure, I hear you. You can't control how thousands of whatever people do. Sure.
So if you've been living under a rock,
it's me.
Taylor Swift started dating a football player.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season, like midway through the season, towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. Coincidentally, the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl this year. And there's just so much about the whole Taylor Swift thing that like is so asinine that like it truly boggles my mind. There's layers here that I'm going to have to go down.
Okay.
But the first and foremost is that the Chiefs started to not play like the Chiefs. Granted, they'd been doing that all year. The Chiefs were a juggernaut, right? And they're a dynasty because they ended up winning the Super Bowl. Okay. So that's important to understand.
Okay.
They've won 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. They are a dynasty. 3 and 5, I think. 3 and 5 years. I think that's right. They've won 3 Super Bowls.
They're making moves at the moment.
They're a dynasty.
They're big.
No, they're a dynasty. They are literally like the Bulls in the 90s at this point. That's the level that they're basically at. Now, granted, the Bulls won 6, but
get on their level.
So they're a really good team. Going to be favorites year in and year out.
Sure.
And they were not playing to that level.
Okay.
All year, basically.
Okay.
And as soon as Taylor Swift came into the picture, all of their woes were her fault.
Yeah.
She was clearly the reason.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden she's a distraction to the team.
Yeah.
And all of this other stuff. And it fucking hurts.
Yeah.
It like actually like physically hurts to like even hear somebody try to spin that, because it's like,
what are you talking about?
What the fuck is she even doing other than existing?
Yeah.
That is the most idiotic take. Like mind blowing.
I mean, speaking of fans that suck, I tend to dislike most sports fans.
Sure.
Because I just don't understand the things that come out of their mouths.
And literally then just like, it's just one thing led to another.
Yeah.
So like, she's enjoying herself at the game. Is she doing it for the camera? Maybe. Who fucking cares? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, again, there's so many layers.
Yeah.
It's like, to go all the way, like, shame on whoever invented cameras.
I guess.
Like, it's their fault.
Yeah.
Because it all just divulged from that point on.
Yeah.
That now, when somebody is of a certain status, we have to put the cameras on that person.
Yeah.
And now that person feels like they need to, like, be performative in just their existence.
Yeah.
Or else they're going to be shit upon for existing.
Well, because, so literally to dive off that, I'm sitting here and like, okay, so we had the Super Bowl on, but like weren't really watching it. I don't have a concept of like, they might have, I maybe saw them pan to her twice. Like, again, I wasn't paying attention, so I don't fucking care. But I've seen clips of her like celebrating at the games. Like, I've seen all that. And she's very expressive, like in how she celebrates, which like looks like a lot of fun. Like, it looks like she's having fun, which I like am all for. That great, have fun and celebrate. I sit here and I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, okay, they pan to like tons of celebrities go to the fucking Super Bowl. Like, they kept panning to different celebrities at one point, and I'm not trying, I just can picture this. So like, that's why I'm calling this person out, but I'm not calling them out. I don't fucking care. They pan to Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is literally just sitting and chilling. I really do feel like if that would have been Taylor Swift, they'd be like, wow, she doesn't even want to be here.
Right.
Like there's no winning. Like, there was no winning for her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's either super into it and they're like, oh, wow, she's just putting it on for the camera. Or if she just would have been sitting there and like talking, or sitting there and just like watching, sitting there and just like on her phone for 5 seconds, something every fucking person in that stadium does, they'd be like, wow, cool, she's not even paying attention. Wow, cool, she doesn't want to be here. Why the fuck is she here? Cool, she gets this, but she doesn't even want to be here. Like, there's no winning for her.
I know, exactly.
Zero winning.
Again, it's like, is she like putting on a bit of a performance?
Yeah,
like maybe.
Or she's just having fun.
Exactly. And the one that I think bothers me the most is that she had Travis Kelce got like laid out at one point, and there's a reaction now of her where like,
I'm guessing she covers her mouth.
Replay,
yeah,
and she's like this. She's like covers her mouth, and she's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I don't want to be the person who makes like a gross generalization.
Okay.
But
oh, great, you're about to make a gross generalization.
My guess is Taylor Swift doesn't care about football.
Is getting into it because she's dating a football player.
So when she saw a man get absolutely bodied, and a man that I'm going to guess that she cares about.
Right. To a degree, at least.
And sees him get absolutely bodied.
Yeah.
I think that's anybody's normal reaction.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
And
I mean,
also, it's like a totally another thing. But like, I feel like when you have stake in it, you could cut the camera to anybody's parent.
Yeah. Oh my god.
On a hit like that.
Yeah.
And they're also probably going to have a shocked reaction.
Yeah.
Because even though you're going to sit there and go, that's football, baby.
You're concerned about the person.
But that specific person means more to that person than anybody else.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just like,
I mean, wild. I know it's not even close to the same thing, but like in high school, if like a friend of mine was like taken down on the field, like literally for whatever reason, I would be like, oh my God, like you care. Like, I mean, I don't want anyone to be like injured on the field.
What are you talking about?
What?
What are you talking about?
I'm saying in high school.
If somebody was taken
out on the
field,
I knew,
yeah,
like playing soccer, and someone really like aggressively like laid into them for whatever reason, which there in soccer isn't much of a reason to do that, but it would happen.
Yeah.
And someone's down.
Yep.
And everyone's going, ooh, and kind of watching. And you're like, are they going to get up? Are they not?
Yeah.
You're worried about them because you just watched a human being.
But that's soccer.
Okay.
So you should just be used to it. Stop covering your mouth and saying ooh.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Right.
Women just don't understand sports.
Yeah. No,
It's just crazy.
Like literally anyone could have had that reaction.
God, where did I want to go from here? Man.
I guess what would you rather? Like again, this is playing the like there is no winning. Because if she would have done nothing, it would have been like
she's not even paying attention.
She's not even paying attention. If she would have been like fucking cheering, like probably the other half of the stadium was because someone just got laid out in the field. Now she's this fucking evil person who wishes pain upon someone she cares about. Like, well, like again, there's like no fucking winning. Like she's never gonna win in this scenario. And of course, it's like, and it's frustrating. I'll say from probably our perspective, because we don't really care.
Right.
Like we don't care about anything. We don't care about the outcome. We don't care about her being there. We don't care about any of it. And so then what's frustrating is, of course, at this point, Taylor Swift is a brand. She's barely a person. She is a person, but that name is a brand now. It's not her. It's more than her. It is like a thing. So like, of course, media is going to cling on to that. And so media is making it 100 times worse. Like they're of course willingly putting her.
They're putting the target on her.
In the crosshairs.
Because it's one of those things where it's just like, stop fucking showing her.
Yes.
And but then the other aspect of it is people are getting upset that you showed her.
Yes.
And I don't want you to let those people win.
I know.
So at the same time, I'm like, keep showing her.
Right. Like, okay, what is the difference? They show people's families being there. They show celebrities being there. They show that. And then why is it different that she's there?
That's the other thing that pisses me off is that Drake goes to every single Raptors game.
Right.
Every single game. Right. He is sitting courtside and they will show him a trillion times over and nobody says shit.
Yeah.
And he's not even at like...
I mean, he's still one of the most known artists, like globally.
Yeah, but
yes,
at least Taylor has some good hits. Got him. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just absolutely crazy. Jack Nicholson, Lakers games. You know what I mean? Like, celebrities have been going to sporting events and have had the camera put on them
forever
since again the inception of cameras and celebrities going to games.
I mean, have you watched Winning Time? What's it called? They're literally
is Jack Nicholson in that? Not like actual Jack Nicholson, but like
I don't know.
Did they like reference the fact that like he's sitting courtside?
I don't remember, but the whole thing is about making it sexy. Like you want to bring stars in to come and watch the game. I kind of feel like they said they
brought in Jack.
They
Nicholson.
might have, but like again, like you know what I mean. Like the whole point, like stars help drum up excitement as much as you maybe don't want that to be the case.
The NFL is served a gold platter because the most popular entity in the fucking world is suddenly has
wants
some
to be
investment
there.
In the thing.
Yeah.
They should absolutely gobble that up.
Sure.
I don't blame them
it's not a bad marketing move. It is a very good marketing move.
So the things that then the outcomes that piss me off are when people want to blame her.
Yep.
But when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, I don't thank her. Is anybody giving her a ring?
Right.
It was her, right?
Right.
It had to have been.
Right.
And then it just opened up the can of worms of just the most insane people saying the most insane things. Mm-hmm. Travis Kelce is, I mean, he's one of the most popular football players easily. And he's probably one of the best tight ends ever. So he's like one of the best at his position ever. And he has like a bunch of like ad deals. And one of them is about getting the COVID vaccine and like just being vaccinated, you know?
Sure.
And people freaked out about that.
He had that
he's
deal.
He's Captain Pfizer now.
Yeah, sure.
So you have that.
Sure.
And I think we know what base I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you have that, right? So that's already riling people up.
Yeah.
It's riling up Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is pissed off at Captain Pfizer, Travis Kelce. So you have that.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers hates him.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers will randomly call people pedophiles.
Sure.
So we know who we're talking about. Travis Kelce, Captain Pfizer.
Yeah.
Now you have Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And what has Taylor Swift done in the past that's those people? She pushed people in 2020 to vote. Mm-hmm. How dare she? Mm-hmm. How dare she do that? So now we have somebody who wants people to vote, and we have somebody who wants people to get vaccinated, and they're together. Mm-hmm. And we're getting close to the end of the NFL season and playoffs.
Sure.
if they make the Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
and if they win it,
Mm-hmm.
this has all been a psyop.
Mm-hmm.
This has all been rigged for the left. Or sorry, the not Aaron Rodgers of the world. And if you remember what I said at the top,
Yeah.
the Chiefs are a good team.
Yeah.
They've been playing, but they had played bad at times. Every good team does.
Sure.
They had some stinkers this year, for sure.
But also, as we always say, playoffs and Super Bowl, in any sport, that's the time where anything can fucking happen. If you're gonna sit here and
it's all just an avenue
Yeah.
to just say whatever.
yeah,
And if you're right,
yeah,
people will latch onto it
Yep.
and say, "Oh my God, you're onto something."
Yeah.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
yeah,
Or you're wrong. Nobody remembers you even said it.
yep,
And that's how sports media works in the first place.
yeah,
I could go on MLB Network and I could go, the Cardinals are going to go 162-0.
mm-hmm.
And, some people might dunk on me for a little bit
yeah.
online, right?
You'll get like
And
a
after
minute
2 weeks,
yeah,
everybody will have forgotten.
mm-hmm.
I'll have gotten my interactions that I wanted.
Sure,
But if the Cardinals do go 162-0, I am God
yeah,
amongst mortals
Yeah.
now.
yeah,
I can say anything and I'm right.
yeah,
It is so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
It is so fucking annoying. And it all stems from small town girl from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, who had a dream
mm-hmm.
of dating a man who definitely has CTE. I'm 75% sure. That was for Austin. I'm 75% sure he has CTE. There's a 75% chance. And people can't just let her live.
yeah,
She is Satan.
yeah. Again, I have my own personal problems with her and her brand, I'll say, and her followers for
The
sure.
thing that annoys me the
But
most is
this
that
situation,
people,
100%. Like, there's plenty of situations now where she now just takes shit so unnecessarily for, like you said, for existing. Because literally, what the fuck? Yeah.
and it's like the other main thing is that like this is nothing new. We were saying how like it's nothing new for celebrities to be at games. But somebody tried to bring up is it Jessica Simpson? Like blonde. I think it's Jessica Simpson. She dated Tony Romo, or whoever was dating Tony Romo. Jessica Simpson.
So I'm no helpful.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
no help
Let
in
me
this
just do it real
situation.
quick.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. Okay. Do you like know who that is?
Yeah, I know who that is.
Okay. She dated Tony Romo for a little bit, and so she would be at Cowboys games, and the camera would show her,
Mm-hmm.
and she was very divisive.
Mm-hmm.
And it always comes back to a woman suddenly injecting themselves into something that is primarily seen as a male-dominated thing.
Yeah.
And it is the end of the fucking world
Yeah.
when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody tried to post her and say, like, is it just me or was she way less annoying than Taylor Swift was? And it's like Taylor Swift, one, is not doing anything. And two, somebody like summed it up perfectly.
Way
they were like
less annoying.
Somebody summed it up perfectly. They were like, bro, people tried to gaslight you into believing that this was the fattest person you'd ever seen when Jessica Simpson was at Cowboys games.
Yeah.
Like the hate
Yeah.
and some of the worst
I'm sure.
shit
I'm
that somebody
sure.
could have lobbed at them.
Yeah.
Literally all for just existing.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know. I can't say that they aren't hamming it up a little bit because they know a camera is going to be on them. So they feel like they have to act a certain way.
Sure.
I would totally get it because what does every goddamn fucking person do when at a baseball game or at a basketball game or at a football game when all of a sudden
You're on the
they're looking up
Megatron, yeah.
at that big fucking screen? Oh man, I wish I could have that in my house. Oh my God. And they see their stupid face. What do? I'm on the camera.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm on the camera. And then they're trying to find the camera. And then they're like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, you're right.
So one, I wouldn't blame them if they are.
Sure.
And two, it's asinine to think that they are.
Also, again,
and to hate them if they are.
Someone's gonna give them shit regardless of what they do.
Right, and that's what I mean.
There's no winning.
If I'm Taylor, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna be having panic attacks because I'm like, I have to be unauthentic.
Yeah,
I can't simply have normal reactions.
Yeah.
Or look away for a second because like that would be what's going through my mind. I'm not saying that's what went through her mind, but like it's just so unfair.
Yeah.
And again, it's every single time. Every time we can scapegoat a woman or blame a woman for something, we'll do it.
Yeah. It's
as
just
a
the
society.
easy shot.
And this dates back to the time of cavemen, the 1960s. When an indie band known as the Beatles, I think the 60s is the right timeline there.
I don't know. Sure.
Like all of the nonsense with Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to say that like a girlfriend can't cause turmoil for a group.
Sure.
It's not the girl's fault though.
Right. Like, there's other problems if that's what causes a downfall.
Take it up with the band member who chose, like, who felt a relationship was more important or as important as he did, which also is fine.
Right.
But, like, you know, what was it? Get Back, right? We really need to watch it. But I guess there's a scene in it where Yoko Ono literally like shows up and she's just like sitting amidst them while they're like doing a band practice or whatever. And she's like reading a newspaper. And like people were like, oh my God, I get it. And it's like, what do you get? She's literally existing. She is literally existing just around you. And people are like, oh, we should assassinate her. We should. Oh, well, that's actually, wow. That was a poor choice of words because John Lennon was assassinated. But
way to go.
Anyway. I'm just gonna sit with that for a little bit.
Yep.
No, but that's literally everybody's reaction. Where it's like we should like kill all women.
Yeah, it's the as soon as a woman got involved, now it's obvious what's wrong. But of course, it only was until the woman showed up that something was wrong. Even though that's obviously like that, like there was obviously underlying problems.
Exactly.
And obviously, if something falls apart, whilst around the time that a woman shows up, it had to have been the woman to cause the problems.
And I cannot think of a singular time where a man was scapegoated.
Yeah.
In the same way.
I don't know.
Where's the like WNBA finals were lost
and a guy
because
someone's boyfriend was sitting there. Yeah.
And he's like got a perfectly chiseled face that the camera just kept cutting to.
Right.
Clearly a distraction.
When is like Henry Cavill gonna show up to something and just absolutely fucking destroy
Henry Cavill is he's an interesting guy. He's a weird guy.
Okay.
He's a weird guy.
Where's that going?
He's just a weird guy.
Okay. I was just trying to think of someone.
Yeah. Henry Cavill's like, he's the one who, don't get me wrong, I love the stuff that Henry Cavill's in. I think he's a pretty good actor. But he was the one who had the whole thing where he's just like, yeah, I don't really like to date people because of the implications.
Huh?
And it's like, what?
What implication? Henry, what have you done?
Like, what do you mean? You don't want to just like form a relationship with somebody and then like start dating and be more romantically involved with that person?
The implications?
Yeah.
Is he a robot?
Yes, I think so.
Right.
Like, I think he was going like very far in the direction of like, well, I'm a celebrity.
Yeah.
I have status.
Sure.
I don't want it to.
You're probably questioning.
Like I'm abusing my status
Yeah.
You're
questioning.
Like so
you kind of have to
direction.
question what's real.
When he said it, it was coming across like, it wouldn't be possible for me not to use my status.
Yeah.
Like that's how it came across. I don't think that's how he meant it.
What he should have said is, "Dude, I'm Superman."
What he should have said was nothing. And I think all men, I think all men need to just
Need a what? I can't hear you. What? Yeah? Need it. I couldn't agree more, Spencer. Well, that was so beautifully said.
I know there wasn't really a good through line there, and I just kind of just streamed on and on. But like, last thing. So many people, the Aaron Rodgers of the world, said that they were going to fucking dickhead. Me, not Aaron Rodgers. Well, no.
Yes, both. All of the above.
So many people were saying, much like everybody does when something does something against their thought process or belief, is that because we've realized with certain things that boycotts can be effective, people will like threaten boycott now left and right, and think that like they'll be able to do something about it, which I think we talked about this like not too long ago on an episode. Trying to get every single person to actually like go all in on something is incredibly hard. It's probably never going to happen. You can only just hope that you're part of a movement that's big enough to actually like warrant change. But at the same time, we shouldn't get upset with people who like go against an active boycott out of ease, out of necessity, stuff like that.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
So many people
overconsumption.
Yeah, so many people said, and it's the usual suspects. The Aaron Rodgers said that they were going to like boycott the NFL and boycott the Super Bowl. It was the most watched, and I knew this was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. I'm not gonna watch the Super Bowl if the Chiefs are in it because I don't want to watch the Taylor Swift Super Bowl. And it's just like I know, I just knew, and maybe those same people who definitely watched the game are going to say, "Well, it's probably all for fans who watched it. I didn't watch it." But I just knew, amidst everybody saying that they weren't going to watch it, that it was going to be the most watched Super Bowl of all time. And without failure, it was the most watched Super Bowl of all time. Because of course it was.
Right.
Of course it was.
Yeah. Do you think...
So they don't care about you. You have to pick a fight that is worth it. Like, I don't know, saying you want to end racism. So the NFL... puts end racism in the end zone of every single stadium at the back end. Right? Like, oh, that's a movement that like a majority of people should fucking agree with.
Right.
Right? A majority of people, a majority of Aaron Rodgers out there hopefully learned that a majority of the world do not fucking care about Taylor Swift going to something.
Right.
I mean, they care. There are a lot of people who do care about that just simple fact, but not in a negative connotation.
Yeah.
And just that most people are just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't need you to cut to her every 15 minutes, but if that's what you feel you need to do, it doesn't. You're not causing me to miss a play.
Right. You're not seeing
there's
shit
so
anyway.
much fucking downtime with NFL. But anyway, so many people said they weren't going to watch it, and I was getting a little giddy.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's for the wrong reason. But yes.
Yeah.
We should stop watching the NFL. We should stop watching people actively give each other brain injuries and then watch the league do nothing about it.
Right.
To actually solve those issues.
Right.
Sure, it's better than like at the beginning, but it's still bad.
Right.
And people are just bigger and faster and hit harder.
Yeah.
So like, has it really gotten better?
Right.
Like, I guess it's probably net zero in terms of safety. But it's like, okay, yeah, that would be dope. Yeah, everybody should stop watching the football and Super Bowl and NFL and stuff like that. But I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew it would be the most watched, and sure enough, CBS or whoever was bragging about it. Most watched sporting event of all time.
Yeah, I'm becoming more and more over the Super Bowl just from a advertising standpoint and like what it even is at this point. Like, it's just like, I just want to kind of eye roll through a lot of it and be like, I used to find this like a very exciting, like I'm saying, like I'm eye rolling at myself because I used to not ever caring about football in my life, found it to be like an exciting thing. It was like this like oh my God, we're all watching it and like we're all gonna be able to like talk about it tomorrow. And like people are coming up with what used to feel like imaginative advertising, which holy shit, the fact that advertising is like entertaining or anything like that is like wild. And like now I just like feel so like I feel very icky about it at this point in my life. Like it doesn't feel entertaining. It doesn't feel good because I know what companies are spending to fill that time to try and grab your attention for 3 seconds.
As we become more and more aware of like the injustice that's done on like the worker level, day in and day out, then watching Duncan spend $1 trillion to get fucking Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and J-Lo in a commercial
is insane. Like it's insane. It's like it feels icky at this point. It's not like cool to me anymore.
It's a little fucked up.
Yeah. And it's been like a slow forming opinion in my brain, but like I feel like this year like solidified it. And it's like not for any particular reason. It's just been like something that's always been sitting there and I kind of feel ickier and ickier about it every year. Yeah. And then this year I was like, I said to you, I was like, I could never watch a Super Bowl ever again. Like I know that and I would be okay with that and like not care ever.
Yeah. I don't like, isn't it so funny? Because I felt that way for a while now. Yeah. Yeah. We were at like an event on Sunday. And like the joke was like, yeah, we're all just there for the commercials. And I'm like, but are you?
I know. I'm like, should we be?
Do you actually sit there and like the commercials come on and you're like, oh man, this is exciting? Because it's all dog shit. It's
where my interest was.
Everything that's given to us anymore is just fucking slop, dude. It's so fucking bad. I was thinking about this the other day. I was just thinking about how...
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Do you think Taylor Swift will be asked to be the halftime show in the next 3 years?
I think she was asked.
But now
and can you imagine if this was the year that she was the halftime show?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think the NFL will try to capitalize on it and try to really ask her
I think there
again?
would have been a Heaven's Gate movement. That's the one where the people drink Kool-Aid.
It's not the Kool-Aid incident, but they do all ingest something poisonous. Yeah.
We could have had something like that happen.
Yeah.
Which... No, that wouldn't have been good.
Sure. But yeah, I'm like, do you think the NFL will try to capitalize on this and really be like, please do the halftime show?
Please, Taylor, please. Can you please do it?
Which obviously,
Taylor?
I do think you're right. I do think she was approached. And obviously she has full right to say no. Like they all can say no. Like when they're approached about it, there's like lists of people who've said no in the past over different reasons. But yeah, I'm curious if like, I'm sure I'll see something that's like Taylor Swift was approached to do the NFL halftime show.
Yeah.
And this is blah, 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 blah.
I mean, I hope she doesn't.
For her own sake, yes. But
I hope she doesn't.
For her, yeah. Just because it's like, which I'm sure at this point she sits here and she's like, I'll get a good reaction from this group of people and a horrible reaction from this group of people, regardless of what I do. So I'm sure that's how she approaches everything.
Another great example, Usher. During the halftime show.
Yeah.
What did Usher do?
What is
a really notable thing that he did that you probably forgot he did because it doesn't matter that he did it, but had J-Lo and Shakira.
He took his shirt off. And that man was gyrating left and right. I almost said it while we were watching it. I was like, remember when Shakira was like existed
and was doing
performed
Shakira things
and like was amazing and
J-Lo was J-Lo
freaked out, and
J-Lo
that's why
things.
I literally made the comment when he took his shirt off. I was like, some mom's gonna be on Facebook. It's gonna be mad he took his shirt off, but it won't be near the ridicule that all the women have gotten when they performed.
I bet there wasn't a ton of like.
I bet there wasn't a ton. I'm sure someone said something, but I'm sure
a couple of Aaron Rodgers types.
Yeah, a couple.
That's just like.
Yeah. No, I totally said that while we were watching it. I was like, yeah.
Like I was thinking about how like I'm trying to think of like all the negative things said about any male performers of recent versus like female performers. Yeah. And just in general, I feel like you have more to lose doing the halftime show than you have to gain at this point.
I agree.
Because you're gonna be criticized no matter what. And then if you're a woman, I haven't seen too much negative about Usher. I've seen a lot of like
yeah.
It was fun.
It was fun. You know? It was a fun performance. You knew there was going to be so many I always call them jump scares because it's just like who's gonna show up next.
I think the only ones where I didn't see a ton of. I think the most recent one was when there wasn't a ton of flack was the Eminem, Snoop Dogg. That halftime show.
Yeah,
I feel like didn't
yeah.
have a ton of negativity
Yeah.
come after it. Rihanna was getting shit
Yeah.
for being a woman.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Although the jump was very cringe.
I know you didn't like it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, of course. I feel like Shakira was like the top of like shit.
Well, yeah, those two fucking bombshells shaking their ass.
Yeah.
Which is what they're like known for.
Yeah.
They're known for being like phenomenal dancers.
Yeah.
And when you're dancing,
and they
you're
always have
hips.
beautiful costumes.
And Shakira literally has a song, "Hips Don't Lie."
Yeah.
So,
that was a great show.
It was good.
That was great.
But they got a ton of shit because they
did.
were fucking hot.
Yeah. So stupid. So yeah.
But like I said, like Usher took his shirt off. Wow. First off, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I mean, beautiful. It would have been the end of the fucking world.
Yeah.
Had that been a woman. And I'm not saying a woman literally had her titties out. Though.
But if a woman were to like effectively strip down to a different costume, that would be
like
a whole
something
thing.
Like if like effectively like ripped off her clothes,
a coat
and had
that was now like a bodysuit,
literally was wearing like a bikini, it would be the end of the world.
Yeah.
Little boys watch the Super Bowl. Stupid. All right, I'm done. Ranting.
Shelby and Spencer ranted about another thing.
This is the last time you and I will be ever talking about football on this podcast.
Hopefully.
No, for sure.
Are you sure?
I am putting a ban on football talk.
Well, good for you because Marge's deep dive is about football. No, I'm joking. No football's here. Anyway, so thank you all for being here. A bit of a. Do we want to give a sneak peek? We have our movie this week after today. Our movie club comes out.
Yes.
For 1983.
Yes.
So hopefully, maybe you elected to watch some. Maybe you're just waiting to hear our opinion. It was a really fun episode to record. We recorded it the minute we were done watching all the movies. So go listen to that next week. I will have the graphic up for the next movie club on social media when the 83 one goes live. So you'll know what the next year is and all that shit. And so because movie club is about to happen, that means March is going to be a deep dive, which we have a really fun one planned. There won't be a guest for the deep dive, but there'll be a guest for the week prior that relates to the deep dive. We'll explain it later because this episode's already really long. So, thank you all for being here and for listening to us rant. Honestly, this is always just a angry bowl of soup here when you show up. So thank you.
Show up?
Well, no, when listeners show up.
Oh.
It's normally an angry steaming bowl of soup.
I mean, let us know what your thoughts are. Like, are we right?
We're right.
Are we wrong?
No.
Should we be upset about women existing
every day?
or are we too bothered by probably what should be regarded to as a vocal minority?
I do think we are both. You more than me, but both of us are people on the internet a lot. So we do hear these horrible takes from definitely a vocal minority because probably the average person you would actually meet on the street doesn't have an opinion.
The average person thinks Trevor Bauer should sign in baseball and also thinks there's a gun problem.
Exactly. The average person probably has very little opinion.
And online, that is not
and just wants to be ignored and like whatever. So I do think, not that I think of course I don't think we have the wrong opinion, but I do think we probably don't always help by bringing attention to things that just innately the average person's like, yeah, that's fucking stupid. What are you talking about? But regardless, this is the world we live in and we are people of the internet. So this is where we are. Woo! So you can follow SM if you like, rate, whatever the hell the app tells you to do where you listen to this on. We are on YouTube at SMSoup Podcast and we are on TikTok and Instagram at SMSoup Podcast. And Spencer and our socials are always in the description. So that is all. We will see you for Movie Club. Happy almost end of February. Bye.
Bye.